The Arcanist welcomes you to my video review of Advanced Guildhall Fantasy The Gathering, a new standalone expansion for the game Guildhall, which has two versions, the regular version and the fantasy version, and now we also have The Gathering, which comes in this box here and can be played by itself or can be combined with previous sets of Guildhall Fantasy. Don't be worried about the advanced thing, the rules are pretty much the same as you have in the basic Guildhall. There's just one or two like really minor tweaks. I'm not gonna go in detail about how Guildhall is played because there are many videos out there, some made by me, that explain the basic ideas of the system. I guess here I can just give you a very quick overview in case you haven't played it in a while or you haven't played it before. The idea is that you have this deck of cards representing various characters with different powers. During the game, you will play these characters from your hand in front of you, first in your action area. From your action area, then you'll place them in your personal area, and you will place them in sets, Alchemist with Alchemist, Arcanist with Arcanist, but trying to get different colors of the same type. You cannot have a duplicate of the same type and same color. So you will form this set. When you play a card, you will also be able to gain the effect that is indicated on the card based on the number of cards that you already have, including the one that you just played. So if I have this card here in my personal area and I play this card, now I have a total of 2 and I can activate this effect. If I already have 3 here and I play this one, this is the 4th card, then I can activate this effect here. And it's pretty simple. When you have a full set of one of these characters, you turn it face down, it's a complete set, and in the game you can trade full sets for victory point cards that will give you a certain number of victory points plus the ability to perform some actions. Some cards only take a single set, some cards take 2 sets to get them, and you continue like this until a player reaches the number of victory points needed to win the game. As simple as that. So how is this set different from previous ones? Well, first the difference is that, of course, we have new characters, and figuring out what they do, learning all of the effects at the beginning, like in other sets of Guildhall, takes a little bit, takes a couple of rounds, but luckily enough you have these nice player aids that you will want to spread on the table for players to pick up and read as they become familiar. So let's have a quick look at what the new characters in this expansion, standalone expansion, do. The Arcanist, and here I like the fact that each character has a description with the general gist of what that profession does, and then you have more in detail of what it does at each level. This is when you activate an effect at different levels, meaning based on a different number of copies of that card that you already have. The Arcanist, generally speaking, allows you to look at cards on the top of the deck and place some of them into any action area, and you return the other cards in any order. The Warlord lets you put cards from your hand into another player's hand, and you're like, hey, why would I do that? Because then you're gaining victory points, so you're exchanging cards for victory points. And so victory points will come from the victory point cards, but then also, again, there are game effects that will give you victory points, and there are tokens to record that. The Avenger allows you to move cards from another player's locations, from other player's Guildhall to another location. And depending based on that, those cards can be moved from their Guildhall, which is the area where they're stored to become full chapters, so then you can score them. From there, you can move them to their action area, which is not very far. They're gonna go back to their Guildhall at the end of their turn. However, interesting enough, one of the tweaks to the basic Guildhall system that you find here is that you cannot play a card if there is already a card of that profession in your action area. So if during my turn I'm pulling a card from your chapter into your action area, it is true that at the end you will get that card back, but now you cannot play a card of that type in your action area, which means you cannot build in that category, and also you cannot activate one of their effects this turn. At higher levels, you can take a card from different chapters of the opponent and put them back into their hands, so that delays the process of getting them back where they were. And even at the highest level, you can take a card from 2 different chapters in an opponent's Guildhall and put them into your action area. You're stealing them. It's a fancy and verbose way of saying that you're stealing those cards. The Invoker lets you look at the top cards of the deck, put a selection of those into your hand, and put the rest back in any order. The number varies with the levels that you have. The Duelist forces the players to discard cards from their hands, and that can be pretty annoying and definitely slow you down. The Alchemist, you can search the discard pile for cards and add them to your hand or Guildhall, again depending on the situation, without changing the order of the cards in the discard pile. And then we're back to our Arcanist. Let's see if you remember what she does. You look at cards from the top of the deck and place them into any other action area. Return the other cards in any order. Oh yeah, actually, come to think, I thought we started with the Arcanist, but now when we were reading the effects, we started with the Warlord, I think. In any case, yes, this is what the Arcanists do. Look at the cards on top of the deck and place them into any action area. Return the other cards in any order. So yes, you may even put them in someone else's action area. You're giving them that card. The advantage again being that they won't be able to play a card of that type during their turn, therefore they will not be able to activate the effect. And in some cases, if you think that they're gonna steal cards from you, they're gonna mess up a set that you have almost completed and you wanna score next turn, that can be very good. So this is a general idea for the things that you find in here. These cards, they're good cards. I enjoy the effects. Some are really reminiscent of other effects from previous sets. And at this point, I guess there are just many sets and there are only so many things that you can do to manipulate the cards. Take a card, put a card here, move a card there. I mean, you can't have an effect that is like, you know, dance around the table and do a somersault and then disintegrate a card or something. There are only so many things that you can do. But still, I find that this set here with this interaction creates an interesting set of problems. Sometimes there is a little bit of the annoying element that you build something, somebody else's effect destroys it, then you build something else and somebody else's effect sets you back. You may have a little bit of a loop, a little bit of a circular element of like, you know, a circle of building then and taking away what was built. On the other hand, in general, there is a moment where even if players keep raising each other's progress, somebody managed to break the circle and to create progress, which is really part of the game. The point is, you know that the opponents can do that to you. So the question is, how do you prevent them from removing any progress that you make, while at the same time, how can you remove their effects and protect yourself against that? However, the game also comes with 2 mini expansions, which I like at different degrees. One I like so-and-so, and this is an expansion here, and one I like a lot. And this is an expansion that gives you a whole different set of wild cards that you shuffle in the deck. There are more copies. These are just, I pull one of each kind of cards of the expansion to show how they work. But let's start with the mini expansion that I don't dislike, but I find particularly exciting. Victory point cards will be placed in a row on a side of the table. If you're using this expansion here, some of these cards, of the victory point cards, will be placed on these tiles that form the special expansion. And simply put, when you score a card, well, when you trade in completed sets to score a card, if the card is in one of these tiles and at least one of the sets has that symbol that is made of professions that have that symbol, then you also get that extra effect. I don't find this particularly interesting, if nothing else, because it feels a little bit like a positive loop. When you're getting when you're trading in a chapter, you're already getting nice effects. Then you're also getting this other effect. Yes, there is the extra element that, well, I may get out of my way to get exactly that set, and maybe a double-edged sword that I spend too much time building the perfect combo for that house. But I don't see that this really affects gameplay all that much. What I really like, however, are these wild cards. basically they can be used to replace other cards of that type. So for example, if I am building a set of Warlords and round after round after round I'm still missing the red Warlord or the green Warlord, which is the one that I really need to complete that set, but maybe I get the Tactician instead, which as you can see has the same, so I can replace any card with that symbol of any color. So it really is nice, again, especially since there are several effects that allow you to destroy what other players are doing, and other players can destroy your sets. Well, this allows you to counterbalance that, and you avoid the effect that sometimes happen in Guildhall that yes, you're missing one card and you just can't find it. Having wild cards, a wild card for each type of profession is great. It speeds up gameplay. It also makes them particularly valuable. It gives me effect. If I have effects that allow me to steal cards from your sets, well, I'm gonna steal the wild one because it's easier for me than to stick it in whatever set I am working on. So we have another card here that you can see can act as a wild for the Alchemist, and so on and so forth. And these cards also have their own effects. So you have a whole different set of effects on top of the ones granted by the standard cards. When you play one of these wild cards, you have these other effects that apply that may allow you to put cards from your hand into the player's Guildhall, and you're thinking, why the heck would I do that? Because that scores you 3 victory points. It's not bad. The Magus that can replace the Arcanist then lets you take cards from other players' Guildhall and put them into yours. Really powerful and annoying. Moving cards from other players' Guildhall and put them into the deck, which is what the champion does. Discard a number of cards from your hand and draw an equal number of cards, says the Archivist. The Seeker lets you take cards from an action area and put them into the Guildhall, and you also get an extra action. The Raider lets you look at cards in other player's hand, and then you can swap cards from the player's hand with your Guildhall, and we're back to the Tactician that gives gifts and turns them into victory points. To me, this is an important expansion, not just because it makes the set nice, but in general, I think if you have other sets of Guildhall and you're like, wow, this is a really fun game, but from time to time we get stuck, the game seems to get like at an impasse, add this expansion here. To me, this is a great addition to the game. Very important because it speeds up play, it adds new effects without making it too complicated, I would say it adds more tactical depth without any significant really increase in complexity. Once you know how to read the basic icons of Guildhall, then you know how to read the icons of these other cards. The memory word that you have to make to add is absolutely insignificant, but I believe the increase in fun and in game options is significant. So here we have Advanced Guildhall. It is a set which is perfectly fine and good. It's not like I was like, whoa, this is so much better than every other set. No, it's a good set. I mean, other sets are good too. It has one of my favorite ones probably, but still, again, not a runaway leader in the Guildhall fantasy. It's a good or even very good set. To me, what sets it apart is the advantage of having this expansion here. I don't remember seeing these cards from previous sets, and if they were there, well, but my bad. I must have forgotten. But in any case, it's good to have them. The other mini expansion, really irrelevant. But the wild cards really add to gameplay, really, I think, improve on gameplay. Even without those, what you have here is the good, solid gameplay that you've seen in previous Guildhall fantasy sets. To me, enhanced and improved by the expansion, no doubt. And if you have never played any Guildhall fantasy games, then this could be a good set, because you have a good, solid number, good, solid range of standard cards here, plus an expansion that you don't have to use if you don't want to, but I think it's nice to have. Advanced Guildhall Fantasy, a good place to start if you haven't played Guildhall before, and definitely a good addition to any collector of Guildhall games.